baseball, not always the best team wins, but you got to still go out there and get it done.
Hello, everyone. Welcome out to Legacy Performance Academy. We are on our youth baseball talk health check series, and I've got a couple of members of the Clutch. It's a little different. Clutch is youth, legacy, high school, and we're here. I love coming to this place. Always
It's fun. It's like
yeah,
a playground,
man.
right?
It is. It is. You got the golden tee over there, and you got the golf simulator over there. I should have brought my clubs. I needed a few swings,
You
man.
just ask my wife. I mean, she will tell you I'm a giant child. I take that as a compliment. I think she means it maybe as an insult sometimes, but we got to have the toys. You got to have fun. You got to have a place to tell the parents to go to so that we can take care of their kids without that hub.
And they can watch.
And
they can watch from way up
They
here.
can sit at the bar. Yeah. They can play foosball, golden tee, have a drink. I don't care.
Yeah, there you go. I got to take that with me, though.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool, man. I was hunting those down for a little while, and
I
it was hard to
bet.
get my hands on one of those guys, but that one's cool. The Mariano Rivera one's fun. I've made all the kids that have ever played for me just stop for a minute and watch the YouTube video of him, his last game, Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
They start Enter Sandman as he's coming into that stadium, and if you don't get chills, you don't love baseball.
You know, I agree. And, you know, I love that 45 on Trout.
Right. Different. Just something a little different, right?
I love that. But we were talking about the Ohtani, and everybody who knows me knows I'm a Dodger fan, and that's what that is. But I remember, and you're right, because 2003, I was in Santa Barbara, California working. They sent us down to LA, let us out at traffic time in a meeting, and I'm like, it's 5 o'clock, fantastic, in Los Angeles.
Later.
And I look up, and on the, I see the sign Stadium Way. I'm like, a guy with me, he lives up in Lompoc. I said, you want to go to the ball game? I know they're playing tonight. He goes, let me call my wife.
Yeah.
We just got off the freeway. It took us about 30 minutes to go 2.5 miles, and we got off, Dodgers were playing the Reds. Close game, Eric Gagne.
Yep.
And he'd come into Hell's Bells, and I still feel the chills, man. The lights are down, the boom, man, there's crowd. It's cool.
And if you love the history of the game and the nostalgia of the game, right? And the young guys lose track of that because all they watch is TikTok anymore. Like nobody watches the game. You look at that, and you're in the opposing dugout, and you're down by 1 in the 9th inning, and all you hear is Metallica and Enter Sandman. And it's like,
you're in trouble.
We're done. I'm gonna go to the locker room.
It's a mental battle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, man.
It's
I love
neat.
that. I love that. And the kids got to do that, right?
Yeah.
They got to understand, you know, what that's about. We were talking about before we start here, how you compete,
Right.
you know, being able to compete. So we're here. I didn't introduce. I'm going to go to my far right, Josh Kranawetter. He's the youth director here for the Clutch at Legacy. And, of course, Mike Ott, president, owner, something.
Sure.
All jack of all trades, giant child. That's it. He's the owner of the foosball and the golden tee.
That's right.
That's what he does. So thanks guys. Appreciate you allowing us to come out. We're talking youth baseball and a baseball health check, because I think over the last, 10 years, watching baseball at the youth level, everybody, and I've asked this across the board. I know people go, but I love the answers. It's different. It's been good conversations everywhere we've been, because I think development is a word that everybody uses. But I've asked, what is development for a 9-year-old compared to a high school player, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old? What are some of the things that you guys look at in this aspect and start thinking about development for a youth player?
You want to go?
Sure. So majority of what I would tell you on the development side that's different from the youth side of things compared to the high school side of things is more the mentality and how we're approaching it, how we're talking to them. But as far as the practices and what we're going to do for them the day in and day out of the basics, they're going through the same thing that our high school guys do, right? The same routines. We just have to back down then on them as far as how hard we are on them, opportunities, and make sure that everybody's developing in that way, and not just the physicality, but in the mental side of the game. Because like we talked to our boys, the mental side of the game is bigger than the physical side.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right?
I agree.
So when we're failing most of the time, it's not the physical failure. It's the mental side of it, and we've lost our way. We've lost our approach. We've lost our attitude. We lost our intensity. We lost our toughness. All the things that we talk about with our high school guys and our youth side of things.
Well, I don't disagree. I think everything starts at the mental side because the body follows the mind. If your body is not functioning properly to field a ground ball, it started here, period. Because your mind is telling you where to go, and your arm doesn't just work by itself, outside of your brain.
Well, and think of it too, to add to that. Again, I'm biased, obviously. We're here.
Sure.
From a program standpoint, right? And Josh is right. I've preached to my young guys, if you go to any high school practice that we have, any of our legacy teams, it's going to look almost identical to the same practice we run with our 10s, our 11s, or 12s, because the program's the same. And so mentally, it provides some peace of mind to where, think of it from a planning standpoint. Mm-hmm. Parents always question, what's the future? Like, I want my kid to be seen. I want my kid to be able to play high school, or I want my kid to get a scholarship, but they never know, how do I get there? Mm-hmm. Here, it doesn't matter what age you are. Go watch any of our practices. It's a program, and they know, okay, this is the path we're on and the path we're following. And at the end of the day, everybody can scream development. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. If parents really want to know whether development's happening, go look at their track record. We're graduating our first class ever out of Legacy. Go look at the boards downstairs and see the number of kids that we've got in our very first class going to play baseball in college. And then it's beyond that, the challenge. How many of those kids actually play 1 or 2 years in college? We don't know yet. I'm not
Nobody knows.
Try to predict that we haven't been there. I would venture to say they're probably going to do well. Even our 27s, their window just opened up. I think we've already got 6 of our 27s committed to Division I programs. Nowadays, with what's going on in college baseball, that's rare, but it's peace of mind. So to Josh's point, if you can take away some of the mental unknown of where this is heading and just focus on the game and the development within the game, I think that helps a ton.
So you have a 9-year-old, right? And you know this 9-year-old is not going to be able to just physically apply the same information as a 15-year-old within these drills, right? It's just the nature of it. Do you do less drills, same amount? How do you cope with the fact that it's a 9-year-old mentality? How are they moving their body? How are they doing those things if you're doing the whole same routine as a 15-year-old?
I think a lot of it is you're breaking them down individually as well, right? You can't just leave them in a group setting and expect you to watch the neighbor and or a guy in front of them and say, okay, I'm going to do it like that. Mm-hmm. Their bodies don't work that way, like you just said. So some of that is taking them individually and breaking it down and doing individual work with them, and then talking to mom and dad and say, hey, look, we got to get better in our movements, right? Before we can get to the step B, we got to make sure we're doing step A right, okay? And we're controlling our body functions. So I think that's a big piece of it also.
Yeah.
Where a lot of high school guys are more mature. You can understand your movements and what you're trying to attempt to do there.
Sure. So I love the fact that you're talking about mom and dad and the parents, because regardless, we'll get to that. Anywho, the factors that you see with a 9-year-old, this 9-year-old, that year, do you do any kind of assessment first and foremost at that age, 8 and 9, to see where their athleticism is?
I mean, not to necessarily get into the club, right? Maybe at the
I understand that. Right. No, they're
depending
here.
on, hey, if you're playing on team A, team B, team C,
right.
and how where we're going to put them at, sure. But I think more importantly, for us to look at somebody and to bring them into the club, it's more them. Are they going to be a good teammate? What we're seeing out there, do they resemble that? Are they going to turn out to be a good person?
Body language.
100%. And that's more what we want to build, and we're going to accept in and build off of that, right? Because if you can be that good person, you can be that good teammate, you want to be here, there's a lot to be shown, right? There's a lot you can learn. But just because you're athletic and mom's forcing you in
right
at 8
doesn't mean you want to play baseball.
So what happens at 10 when you don't want to practice?
Right.
And for us too, I mean, not to offend anybody, but it takes about 10 seconds of watching a 9-year-old. And we know really well kind of where they are.
I think that's true of most 9-year-olds, right?
It is to us. Again, not to insult any parents out there, but there's a lot of parents that think their 9-year-olds are they're 100% going to play Division I baseball, right?
Well,
and so again, it goes back to managing expectations too. And sometimes those are conversations to go to a parent and just say, "Hey, your kid's great. We're not there yet."
I don't think. Let's put it this way, and I'll see what you're. Josh, I've talked to you on numerous occasions over the last 7 years, probably 8 years, youth baseball and stuff. I don't think there's a 9-year-old that you can call great. That's just my perspective, and I don't mean that. But honestly, I think we need to maybe take and change the language a bit.
Call them great humans.
I think that's okay. He's
It.
a great kid.
And that's what we're
right? He's a good kid.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. Right? You don't see any 9-year-old collegiate baseball players out there.
High school. They're not playing high school baseball yet,
I
right?
think the last 9-year-old I heard of hitting a home run off of an adult was Bo Jackson. And I just heard that story yesterday by Bo Jackson. So I was doing an interview and I heard that.
That's great. That's great.
But I believe that's the last one I've heard of.
I love that. And I think that's sometimes, do you think we've got to, I think that's where the narrative has to shift a little.
Yeah, because I mean, again, give parents some credit. I mean, they don't know what they don't know, right? And so their number one priority, they love their babies. And they want to do whatever they can to put their kid in the best spot to succeed.
You do, I do, everybody does.
All of us do, right? But if you're not in the world like we are every day, they don't really understand what development means. So I've got a lot of good friends and colleagues and peers in this area that preach development as a selling tactic as to why kids should come play at their club, not actual execution of the development. They use it as a selling ploy, and that stinks. And we see it, and it shows up on their field, in their gameplay and things like that, and it's just disappointing. And that's the part that needs to change. Don't just say it, do it.
How do you take the opportunities then? Because for some time, this is the refrain, oh man, dad coaches, daddy ball, this, that. Well, I was a dad. I coached. You're a dad, you coach. Still coach. You're a dad, you coach. Guess what? Coach Ringy over here, he's got a son, his dad coach. I mean, I think we have to, again, what do you take away and how do you set yourself in motion when you have these dads coming in, coaching these youth baseball teams?
So I think that's a really, really hard thing, and most people can't do it, just to be fair with you.
I can understand that.
Most people can't put little Johnny to the side and cut off the bloodline and coach their team. They just can't do it.
Right.
They have to hold on to him, and they're there for that reason, right? And I'm not saying I'm not coaching because my son's playing baseball, right? Not coach. Let me back that up. I'm not coaching his team, right, because he's playing baseball. But I love the game of baseball, and whether he's on that team or not, I train our coaches that you have to put that to the side. You coach your team like he's not there. He's not your kid,
or he's just another teammate, right?
Yeah, we've actually told our coaches in our coaches' clinics you have to hold your own son to a higher standard. Sorry. And it kind of sucks for your son because he's going to feel like he's being picked on a little bit.
Thanks, coach.
I know, but you have to, otherwise it gets perceived by other parents and kids as, well, little Johnny's only getting that because it's coach's kid.
Well, can that backfire on you guys though?
I would tell you this, my opinion of it. You need to be harder on your kid. If you're the dad and your kid's on that team and you're coaching your kid, you need to be harder on your kid, period. Then the car ride home, at home, the conversations one-on-one, that's where you drill down and you get to be a loving parent again and say, hey, buddy, look, I love you. Here's why I'm being tougher on you. I'm the coach. Like, people look at you as a reflection of me. I need you to hold yourself to a higher standard. Be a leader. Do this, do that. Here's my expectation of you. So I'm going to continue to be really tough on you. I love you to death. I love you more than anything in the world. I'm going to be there for you no matter what happens. But just understand, if you want to keep playing at this level, it's going to be tough and probably harder for you than your teammates. But it's going to make you a better baseball player. It's going to make you a better human. You'll learn how to deal with adversity better. And then you and I are going to have these talks. I'm going to give you a big hug and a kiss on the forehead and tell you I love you to death.
Yeah. And then they throw you under the bus on a Youth Baseball Midwest interview.
You interview my son Brandon, and it's like, what's your greatest memory as a kid growing up? Oh, my dad getting thrown out of a machine pitch 8U game. That's his greatest memory? Are you kidding me, Brandon? I hope you watch this, buddy. Like, you and I are going to hilarious. Well, and then and this guy's a brother to me. I said I was going to make fun of him. Coach Wiggins, you're on my list. After
I didn't say that,
me, and then looking at my kid who's like a half a foot taller than me and thinking, how in the world did that happen? So yeah, Coach Wiggins and Brandon, you guys.
We got it all out in one spot.
There you go. Hey, Aerosmith, what do you guys want to talk about today?
I love it. Hey, you know what? I got to do this real quick. Appreciate, remember, always, Baseball Talk powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Go check it out. We got 2 spots left in our 14U, please. There's some invitations out there. Would love to see you come out. Our 4 tournaments to start off, we're going to be at the Arch Madness. We got some cool stuff coming. Game7baseball.com. And our friendly folks over at Prime Sports, I got the hat. Prime Sports, that's where you need to shop. The official gear provider of Youth Baseball Midwest. Got to take care of business, right?
Yeah, go over to Building 3. We've got Prime Sports.
There you go.
Their machines over there, right? They're great.
See, there you go. There it is. I love this conversation because to me, when you talk about dad coaches, you have to develop the coach as well, don't you? Isn't that because we talk about development, but you're right. You don't know, that he may have played some high school ball, probably did, but coaching is a different thing and a thought process, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not just about do you know how to teach how to hit? Do you know how to teach how to throw? Do you understand how to run a practice, right? More importantly than anything, are you going to go out there for 2 hours and waste your time, right? Because you didn't do nothing but hit and play.
What's a practice plan?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things within the coaching job description that a lot of dads don't know, even though they know the game.
Right.
Right. I think that's more important than anything that we teach them that.
I think that we've got to, do you guys make a concerted effort to work with the dads on that level?
Yeah, so Coach Kess sent out pickoff plays last week to all the coaches to get to all their players, right? Bunt plays. This is all different bunt plays you should understand, right?
You mean you're going to teach a 10-year-old how to bunt?
Right. We're going to teach them how to bunt, then we're going to teach them how to defend number 1. But I mean, we also
go ahead.
I mean, we no matter where the coach is, what level they are, we put all of our coaches mandatory through a 6-week coaches clinic in the off season with us.
Oh, really?
Coach Ringy runs it. Coach Pierman runs it. I mean, guys, this is their whole career, and they're running it, and it's mandatory. And then they all loved it because we had one follow-up. So it's been all of winter training since we ended the coaches clinic, right? So before the season started this last Sunday, we made them all come back up from 9 to 11 in the morning, which, they're thrilled about getting up early on a Sunday morning coming up here. But we went back and reiterated everything. And I think, again, when you talk about development, I'm not saying that we're right and everyone else is wrong, or everyone else is right and we're wrong. Okay?
Understand.
It's just an opinion on how to do it. We run a program, period.
Yeah.
And we make sure that all of our coaches know, if you're here, you're running our program. And we will write your practice plan for you. We will show you exactly how warm-ups are supposed to go, how catch play is supposed to go, how base running is supposed to go, what is mandatory you have to get in at every practice, how we're going to run team defense, individual defense, all that stuff, right? We have a very defined pitching program. All of our coaches are expected to follow that. So they're running a program. Somebody's stealing your car off. I know. So we're running a program, and the coaches have to follow it. Now, the cool part is everybody's unique, and we tell the coaches, you're free to put your unique spin on things and add a little character to your team and do some things on your own. We're fine with that. That's what makes it fun. But at the same time, though, you have to follow our program, because at the end of the day, everyone preaches development. But if you deviate from that, or you don't have a defined program, then I guess development just means something to every coach within your own organization.
I think so. I think, I think that's an interesting point, because, you're kind of leaving that dad to do what he does and this one over here. And you have maybe three teams at 10U, and each one has a different idea of how to get something done, right?
Well, and here's the cool part, right? So, and this is a big difference that I've seen. You just said you have three teams at one age. It's wild when a whole team comes over to our organization, and then we go through tryouts. And they express to us, like, well, is this other team gonna take any of my players? Like, what do you mean? Why do you care? It's not a big deal. It removes what we try to remove. It's not, hey, we have three different teams at this age, all three doing different things. Because we're all running the same program, it's interchangeable at that stage. Mm-hmm. And so if Josh wants to borrow one of my 12U kids for his 12U team, like 100%, we're off this weekend. Take as many of them as you want, without fear that Josh is in our own organization is going to steal my players. That doesn't exist. We don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of just freedom of being able to relax a little bit and just go coach and have fun.
Yeah.
Right. With it, follow the program, and everything takes care of itself.
Do you think, Josh, looking at the state of youth baseball development wise overall, where would you rate it?
So I think the baseball in general, baseball players in general are well above where we were when I was in high school, right? I think where we go south is our mentality. Coach Mike's already hit on it as far as the parents and their thought process. And little Johnny's already a D1 player. He's this or he's that. Let the kid have fun. Come in, compete, right? I'm not taking anything away from that. I always wanted to do that. I always push my kids to do that.
Sure.
Win and losing, I put that to the side. You want to compete. So go train. Go let them find the best trainers they can that they're learning from, and they can go compete. And as they're doing that, they will fall into the right place, right? You don't have to go find people. If you're good enough, you don't have to run your mouth. They recognized you.
Yeah.
Right? If you're good enough, they're going to come and find you.
Right.
Do your work. Put in your work, put in your time, and you'll go where you're supposed to be going. Right? But more important, I think parents just get away from that, and they want to push through the years as fast as they can so they can see little Johnny go there. Lay off of him a little bit. Let him go work. Let him go have his fun. Let him go compete. That's all.
It's also setting expectation too. And I think there's a lack of communication, honest communication with parents, right? Again, the parents have to have confidence that there is a defined path for their son to progress within the game. If they have confidence that the pathway is built for them, I think the fear of, is my son missing out on something else that's out there, diminishes a little bit, right?
Well, I've seen this a lot, and I think this is a tough thing, from the training side of this, that parents kind of get pushed out of the process. And I think that's a wrong attitude, personally. Now, and everybody goes, well, they're crazy parents. Yeah, there's crazy coaches.
Sure.
I've seen both. And honestly, it's the smaller percent. Because most people, as you said, they just want the best for their kid.
Sure. Right.
And so sometimes if you don't know, it can get a little kooky. And I think, are we doing enough on that side of it to educate the parents on that process, what those things are? And at 8 to 14U, not talk about college baseball.
Well, yeah, and I mean, gosh, Brian, this opens up a can of worms, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not gonna insult anybody. They'll probably know who the heck they are. I'll give you a great example of what I think is actually wrong in youth baseball. Right?
Okay.
So we have a field out here. We can go out there and we can play anytime we want. In the fall, the idea of having a fall instructional league instead of paying all these fees to go play the same exact teams every single weekend. So I reached out to a couple 12U coaches. The local ones are phenomenal. The one I reached out to that's out of state has a really good regional team at the 12U level, whatever that means. And asked him, I said, hey, why don't you come down? Let's do some just 4-game round robin tournaments, and we'll just pay for
play baseball.
Let's just go play baseball and make it instructional.
Yeah.
His response, okay, man, Mike, that sounds great. I can't do that though. I was like, why not? And he goes, well, I really need to get my team's PG ranking higher. And I'm not gonna say what I said because we're on camera right now. And
please and thank you.
Okay. So I'll paraphrase. I said, no kidding. At 12U, huh? And he goes, yeah, I really need to focus on getting the PG ranking higher. I go, will you enlighten me? I'm a little curious. Why? He goes, well, because PG has some really big national tournaments that I want to get my kids into, and I can't get it unless our PG ranking's higher. I said, oh, that makes total sense. I mean, I need to work on that too, because I definitely need my 12-year-olds to go to these big national tournaments and get in front of all these college scouts at 12, because that's going to make a difference in their life.
They're
and
not
he
there.
didn't quite know how to take the sarcasm.
Right.
Honestly, are you kidding me? We're 12U.
Right.
And we're literally saying no to instructional baseball because their ranking wasn't high enough. There you go.
I don't disagree. I do. How do we change that, guys?
I don't know that you can completely, right? Like, there's always gonna be coaches and parents out there. Like, look.
Do you think let me ask you this though. Do you think that's the majority or the minority?
I think it's majority.
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do. I'm worried about
coaches and of teams and the thought process and of the rankings and where they're going to be at. Because to tag onto that, another thing is, you talk about, I don't care if you call them select teams, travel team, I don't care what you call them, but teams out of St. Louis, I will tell you 95% of them don't even need to be traveling. They can compete here locally.
I agree.
But if you looked at their schedule, they're traveling 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Now you go, well,
you could travel once and have a good time.
And I would tell you, yes, I am traveling. But the difference maker would be is once you compete locally and you've shown that, hey, I'm not competing no more, or I'm good enough to go challenge myself down south. Go down South Haven, Mississippi, you'll find out real quick.
Get beat up real fast.
Go down to Texas, you'll find out real quick, right?
You'll get beat up fast.
So why do you want to make that move and go down there and spend that weekend with those parents or 4 days with those parents and getting your tails kicked? Understand how to play the game. Well, you can find it locally, right? Even if you're going to travel an hour. But I think that goes into it too, to where you just got so many people that got this select thing in their mind.
Right.
Go play baseball.
Well, yeah, and the coaches are worried too that, parents have put it in their ear, my kid's really good. I need to challenge them and continue to push them.
And I don't think that's a bad thought process.
Tournaments, and if you're not going to do it, I'll find another team that will. So there's a fear of losing your top players. So
Agreed.
Coaches do that stuff, right? And again, I think it goes back to just communication with the parents. I do think you can work on that. I just don't know that you can actually fix it. And maybe, we're trying to.
I think we can, personally. I think we ought to be adults in the room. I think that's where it needs to come back to a little bit, personally. But I love this aspect of it, and I want to go this one more place because, I hear with, the travel piece of it, and I liked what you said because there's a lot of teams, you can go down the street and get beat.
Right.
And when we're talking about traveling, a lot of coaches have said to me, if you're doing it at this age, go have some fun. It's a bonding. You've won once, twice, great, fantastic, but understand who you are. And I agree. I think there are some teams that need to go play at a different place.
Yep.
But having the conversation with the parents, what has that been like?
As far as which side of it, I guess, with the younger guys and
We're talking about 8U to 14. That's all we're dealing with. High school is a whole different. We're talking about youth baseball. And when you start talking to parents about why we're not traveling as much as that team, how do you have that conversation?
To me, that's a simple conversation, right? I'll just talk about if it was my team. To me, this is a simple conversation to where we've played 8 tournaments. We haven't won one, right? We've played 8 tournaments. We've won 1 and got 4th place in the last 7. Where do you want to travel to? Outside of doing what you just said.
I don't disagree with that.
Outside of doing what you just said,
yes.
Hey, we want to have a fun team trip. Let's go
bond a little bit.
Right? Let's go take 2 days in a hotel and do cool. All about that. But take that away from it. If I'm having the experience I'm having where I've played 8 tournaments, I've lost my last 7 and I've got 3rd, 4th, 5th, but whatever it is, I don't really need to go nowhere. I can compete right in here. Now, I'll turn that around. I've played 8 tournaments. I've won the last 7, right? I got 2nd place in the 8th one. I think I'm all right to go find some competition elsewhere, right?
Yeah, so I understand.
I think, to me, that's an easy conversation with the parents, just like if we break it down individually with a player and where he's at. Maybe he's not a major player. That don't mean he won't be a major player in high school. I mean, my son he's 14. He ain't quite there, right? He's 5'2" and 108 pounds. I hope to God he's not going to be that, right, in 2 more years, 3 more. But he's not quite there.
And there's my argument. Why are you putting a -3 in that kid's hands?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't help that. Yeah. I'm going to say it out loud. Crying out loud, the bat's swinging him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, I'm done. It's just, I think we do get some things, and I think. But that's where I think this got to come back to, guys, personally, is the conversation and putting the adults in the room and everybody coming to say, look, we've got to find that space that, we're all here because we want our children to succeed. And
well, there's a huge element of trust that I think has to kick up.
Thank you. I agree.
It's, again, huge advocate, open communication. Just have the conversation with your families. And I think if you ask every single parent on my 12U team how I feel about
their kid or going far out of town all the time to play, I think they will tell you exactly how I feel about it. Because they know, right?
Have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, the crazy part is, and I think one of the other guys you interviewed, he's 100% right. We've seen kids leave our organization at the 14, 15U level. And when you ask them why, it's, well, because I want better exposure. I'm going to go to, like Canes National or one of these other programs or whatever the heck that is, because my kid's going to get better exposure. Really? Because we actually beat Canes National last year in this tournament that you need to go play in. So you're leaving a team that beat that team, but that team's going to give you better exposure, even though we're all in the same tournaments.
Yeah.
Why? So there's something that's lost there in communication.
Yeah.
And
it's lost in translation.
It's 100% right. And
I think that's where you have to kind of go, hey, if that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. Sure. And I think you're always going to have those things. I personally think that's the minority from what I've seen.
I do think that's, from what we're seeing here, that's the minority. There are those select 1 or 2 families that decide to leave, and that's okay. Again, I love them.
Yeah.
They believe that they're doing what's right for their kid, and you can never fault a parent for doing that. That's awesome. I just disagree with the decision.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's okay. I mean, it's a difference of opinion, and that's what makes the world go round. It's great. I just think we need better communication on kind of where the state of all this is. And then this is our program, right? Coaches need to express to the parents, this is what you're truly getting for what you're paying for. Here's everything that comes with it. There's value in your dollar, and this is what your expectation of us should be on what we're going to deliver to you.
Can I ask you something? I'm going to come back to one other thing, but when you said that, it's just popped in my head. I don't use it, but you brought it up. Because I think this is, how do we get away from the idea of I'm paying the club so my son plays? When the check is written, does it mean that I get to play in the game every inning?
So again, I would tell you my opinion, better education and training for your coaches on how to maneuver that. So I'll give you an example. And I had this is great.
It's a tough question, isn't it?
None of you have heard this yet. Your kids have though, because I had this conversation with my 12-year-olds. Mm-hmm. Philosophy here. It's the last inning of a game. We're up 1. Your son just sat the inning before. He's maybe not our best infielder or our best outfielder. He's going to sit again. I owe it to the team. Sorry, right. Everybody pays the same. I get it. But I'm putting my best defense on the field to finish the game. Now, what I will do, though, as a coach, when we get to that next game, I will pivot from our game plan, and I will start that son in the next game, where maybe I didn't have him starting.
Give him an inning.
And I'll give him an inning.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
So they'll get the game.
That's fair.
But I think, again, you have to educate and train your coaches to know, one, you better be prepared. You better have a game plan. And then you better have really good assistant coaches that know how to help you execute on that plan when you have to pivot in the middle of a game, right? And if you can help coaches develop those skills, you're in a whole other world. And I think that's how we begin to tackle some of that question that you just asked. We all pay the same. How come playing time's not equal? I think you can get playing time pretty doggone equal without sacrificing games at the end.
Yeah, I don't think when you pay, you're paying for equal playing time. I do think that you're paying to be able to play. But I think the competitiveness of the game takes over, and depending, like Coach Mike just said, you may only get 3 innings out of that 7-inning game, right? Just because of how the game worked out. You may only get 2 innings. Maybe you got 4. But then we look at it the next game and we'll move on that practice plan. But once again, parents need to understand that just because you pay money, you're paying money for them to get to play the game of baseball. You're paying money for us to train them and to show them the way and how to improve the best they can. That's what you're doing.
And honestly, I'll ask you guys this because I've thought a lot about this. I would love to see us transition away from even that and pivot away from, hey, how about I'm paying you just to develop my child? And whatever innings he gets, he has to earn.
I think, okay, look.
Did I say that out loud?
So great, but I will tell you, I think every coach.
Am I living too far up?
No, I think every coach already says that, but they don't practice that.
Okay.
Playing time's earned, it's not given.
And it should be.
That's what everybody says, though.
Right.
No one, I mean, you just don't see a lot of people executing on that.
Okay.
Right? And it's hard. I mean, look,
it's hard. I understand.
Too, and it's hard to look at a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old and like, sorry, buddy, you're just not ready. I can't put you in the game yet. Your skill's just not great. Because then you realize it's a little kid and you want to just embrace him.
And that little 12-year-old, he may not even understand what you're saying at that point.
And again, I go back. Kids are great.
Yeah.
I think the kids are great.
Yeah.
I think, no offense to parents, I think most of the problems lie with the parents. I think the kids are phenomenal. I think if we have better conversations with the kids, that's the start. And then ask the kids to go talk to their parents, and then ask the parents, what did they tell you?
But that's where I think that's wrong. I don't think you go and tell a 12-year-old to go talk to the parent. I think you have to, as an adult in the room, go talk to the parent. And regardless of whether you like the conversation or don't like the conversation, and parents have to understand that the coach is doing it because he does care about my child.
So
and we have to, I think that's where we have to come to a different place.
So I'm going to push back on you though, because this goes back to development. Mm-hmm. Beyond baseball, as a human, I want my 12-year-old to listen.
I don't disagree with you there.
Absorb, and then articulate back to someone else what they just heard in an effective way. Teach them how to communicate. And then,
I agree.
But then I still meet with the parents and say,
What did he say?
What'd he say?
And I think that's a fair thing as long as you're doing that on the background. Because just expecting that 12, that's a little tough. Yeah.
Most of these kids nowadays,
I don't mind
in one word, like, yes. How was school? Good.
I don't mind the method in that respect. I don't. And I've done that. You should expect, you want to teach a kid, and I would teach my own children that. But as a coach, though, you got to go and make sure, hey, this is what I said to your son. Did he come in? Well, no, coach, that didn't quite get through. And you're, okay, I understand. Well, this is what the conversation went. Okay, I appreciate it. And that's where I think we have to keep that communication level.
Well, and the cool part is that what's worked well, at least for me, you can speak to you, if a parent ever reaches out with a concern, highly likely I've already talked to the kid about it. Right. So my first question to the parent is always, nope.
Did they say anything to you?
Totally understand where you're coming from. I get the concern. Let me ask you a question. Have you asked Johnny this yet? Have you given them an opportunity? No, I'm just upset or frustrated about this. I haven't talked to my kid. I said, do me a favor. Let's sit down. We're going to find a time. We'll sit down in the office and we'll talk about it. But before we do that, I'd like you to have a conversation with your kid.
Yeah.
And then if you still want to meet, we'll meet. Your son's going to be with you in the room, so we're all there, but call me back and let me know.
Yeah.
They call back, half the time the kid lies, okay, and they say, no, I didn't talk to coach at all. Great, let's all come in the room, and it comes out. Or they call back and say, yeah, hey, my bad.
No worries.
He said that you sat down in the dugout with him in the middle of the game and said, hey, the game's changing a little bit, and you explained
He told me what you went. Yeah.
So that's my fault, I apologize, right? So we've had those conversations, but again, Brian, I think 100%. It's just, again, communication and transparency. You got to be able to communicate well with the parents and the players.
Are we at a B- in communication?
I think we're probably like at a F+.
No way.
Maybe a D. Let me ask, how many coaches are sitting down one-on-one with parents and kids after every season to give a breakdown of how the season went and what the expectation is going into off-season?
I think I know, and that's a program thing, and I get what you're saying, but I'm talking about just in the things in general, what we're talking about with that.
I think there's some great coaches out there.
I think there's some great coaches out there. However, I would agree with Mike here on this, that I don't believe those coaches, when you talk about a weekend after weekend basis here, are talking to, and I don't care what age level you're talking about, I don't believe that they're talking to those kids and then taking those parents, and there's a great communication line there. I don't.
Yeah.
Now, to push back a little bit on that, I don't communicate with my parents every single weekend.
Sure. And I understand that.
If there's a problem, or a kid didn't get to play or something, that's different. I'm smart enough to already recognize this down the road, right? I'm going to handle this already.
Right.
So I don't really have those problems, but I don't go to my parents every day or every weekend for the expectation, because of how we approach our business.
Sure.
If there's a problem, they should already know. You come to me. I'm number one. But when we talk about our teams as a whole, we push on that also. Yeah. Like, I'll have parents call me because I'm the youth director.
Sure.
Have you talked to your coach? No, I just came to you. I'm not going to talk to you.
Call a coach.
Call your coach.
And that's a fair thing.
And your coach calls me, and we can't figure this out. You get to call me.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't figure this out. We're going to keep climbing the ladder.
Right.
Right? But you're not jumping me either. We're going to go down this process here. So I think we force the issue as far as the communication line. But I don't believe when you just talk about, and I'm not just talking about Midwest, I'm just talking about United States as a whole.
In general.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I agree. I want to come back to this one thing you talked about. And I when we talk about scheduled traveling and all the stuff and whatnot, I always find it fascinating. And I've said this on numerous occasions, so everybody who's watched the show knows this. I'm pretty open. I think it's conversation. Somebody's going to get upset about having a conversation. Silly.
Right.
But when you're talking about this, I always say, people go, well, we're looking, we want to play somebody different. I'm like, okay. So you get into high school, you're going to play the same teams in conference every week. And normally coaches that I've seen pretty much play a similar non-conference schedule with same teams. If you're fortunate to move on to play college baseball, you're going to play the same teams in a conference schedule, and non-conference pretty much the same teams that you play. You get maybe a different one here and there. If by some stretch of the imagination, you're going to play the same 32 teams in the MLB. So that is not a good enough issue, in my opinion. So when people are saying that, what do you guys think of that thought process?
I don't really entertain it. I mean, I don't, there's, like I told you, outside of the competition wise, or I'm going to take the one weekend, there's no reason for me to travel. There's not. If I can find it here, PG's having a big super regional here. You're not going to find me down in Texas. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to, like, why would I do that? I'm going to go find the competition. Now, if I'm not good enough for that, I don't need to worry about that particular weekend. I can go any weekend and find it.
Have we lost rivalries too a little bit, Josh, even at this age?
You know, I don't think so. I'll say this, not within my guys.
Okay.
We still want to beat up on the Gators. We still want to beat, I mean, you name the clubs. Like,
right.
And
but that should be fun, right?
Yeah. So I don't think we've lost the rivalries. I think there's maybe less teams that we would consider rival teams. But I think
that's competition-wise. Sure, I get that.
But I think it's still there. It's still there.
Here's the advice I would give to a lot of the youth parents. We've got our rivals. And it's amazing, like, oh, I hate the Gators, or I hate the recruits, or I hate the clutch. I hate, like, like they talk about the rivals, right? All those kids end up as pretty phenomenal friends when they get to high school.
I know, dude, it's crazy.
All these years.
Crazy.
And now they might actually be on the same high school team.
Right.
Right? And it's so much fun to see these kids who have been quote unquote rivals for all these years. Then all of a sudden there's a bond. And they're friends.
Yeah.
And here's the hard part with what you're talking about and how it all comes back to development. Everyone wants to win. And parents, I think, get worked up if their team isn't winning. And look, I mean, Josh and I, ask any coach that's coached against us, we're two pretty competitive dudes, okay? We like to win too. At the end of the day,
you're going to go play.
At the end of the day, after going through this with Brandon and going up, and look, all over the country, right, at the high school level, and seeing 30 college scouts, you know what? They're not there to watch the entire team. They might enjoy watching the team. They're there to watch.
It's that dude.
Generally, it's there to watch the pitcher.
And if you get that kid that just booms and they go, oh, wait a minute. I say you happened to be there when that kid just went off.
Right. But so think about it for a second. They're not there to watch the team. I guarantee you, none of those college scouts know what any high school team, they don't know what our 16 or 17U record is. They're there to watch the guy scheduled to pitch. Okay? So think about it as a youth parent for a second. Knowing that winning really doesn't matter at the higher levels as your kid's getting ready to go to college. Why are we so worried about it and traveling all over the country to win and play in these super big tournaments when it doesn't matter? Because what matters is development and making sure that your own kid is getting everything they need from a skills and drill standpoint to be able to showcase themselves individually on their team when they get to 16, 17U.
Well, and putting aside, to me, one of the things, and here it's a great segue to that, is when you're talking about this particular scenario, 8 to 14, with the development thought process, how much do you know about where those kids are going to end up going to high school?
Like which high school they would go to? Pretty much all of them.
Right? So is there a relationship that's developed with the high school coaches and talking to them about these kids and whatnot? You guys do a lot of that?
More with Coach Ringy and Coach Mike.
Yeah,
okay.
A ton.
Yeah.
A ton.
I mean, why do you think that's important?
So again, I guess for parents to understand and having faith and trust, like I said earlier, in the program you're with. I had a conversation with a dad, I think 3 nights ago. It was a Monday night, first night of high school tryouts. His son's a freshman. And he said, oh man, I hope he's doing good. I'm like, I got a feeling he's going to be okay. Like, really? Are you sure? Why? Because we've actually talked to the high school coach already. You have? I said, yeah, we have. He said, probably a good idea. We're not going to tell you what to do or how to do your job, but I think you ought to consider really strongly giving him a shot because it'll be really good for your program long term. And he's really, really good. And here's why he's good. You guys do that? Yeah, we do. Like we have those conversations, right?
Yeah.
He didn't know that. He had no clue going into high school tryouts. He had no idea that we were having those conversations, advocating for his kid. Now, shame on us. I guess we don't communicate that very well to our parents.
Well, but
Maybe we should. But
okay, maybe
there's
yes or no, but who
faith and
knows?
trust that when we tell you we have your kid's best interest at heart, that's what we're actually doing to make that happen. And again, on your way out, look at those boards downstairs. That
I already
show
looked
all
at
of
the
our
boards.
commits,
I already
right?
looked at the boards.
Our guys here, they are on the phone
There's some dudes down there.
time, right? I mean,
Yeah. I'm not going to give away any rankings, though.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Not yet.
That means a lot.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about high school teams.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah,
Our
you got that
rankings.
coming out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward
I'm
to it.
pumped up.
Yeah, I know. It's
You got some dudes. We're going to see some of those kids you got down there in some games.
I think it's gonna be a pretty fun high school season.
I do too.
a lot of fun.
All right, now enough of that. Come back to this. So the high school, and I think this is where we've kind of lost a little bit of that within this development process and what we talk about and communication with parents. I remember it hadn't been that long ago. I mean, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds talking about, oh, he's a Division I player. He's this. And I'm like, and you get these kids committing it. Hey, what have you liked about the new rule from the NC2A?
More than anything, that the parents stop the nonsense, right, of the early age signing. Like it was getting
Or eighth grade commits.
it was getting
Sorry, I don't mean to
A
laugh.
little out of control, right?
yeah, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and we're talking about signing in college already. Like, come on, right? So, more importantly than anything, that side of it. I don't know that it helped or hurt the high school guys. I think in my mind, it helped them for the same reason.
I agree.
Put that out of their minds. Just
Yeah.
go play the game, go train, get yourself ready. When junior season comes here, we're gonna find what's up.
Yeah.
More than dealing with this as a freshman. Because how many freshmen do you know that haven't even hit puberty? Right? How many guys are out there that are sophomores?
Absolutely.
Right? Let alone
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you this. My oldest, he's 6 foot. I think Jake's 6'2" right now, 215, and in his senior year of high school, he was maybe 5'11" and 180 pounds.
Right.
Right? So I think it changes for everybody at different times. So I like the rule to get at the end of this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I loved what you said there because I do think, and I think this is why, when we talk about these things, I do think it can help change a lot of the narratives and the communication because, look, I think all we need to do at this point now is just get back to playing baseball, right?
Baseball. Develop, get in the gym, right? We said
Yeah.
earlier, this is where you're going to make your money. And I'm pointing down to our gym. Weightlifting, doing the right things, learning how to be more explosive, how to control your body better, how to have better mechanical movements, things like that, right? I mean, let's focus on that instead of, hey, I'm going to run all over the country to all these camps as an 8th grader to show these college coaches what I'm made of. I mean, it's like, come on, let's just go play baseball.
Yeah, and I think that's where I love that part of it. And I think if we start processing that a little bit more, I think we can kind of get back to that.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on the transfer portal.
Wow, we went from AU to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. I'm looking over here and Drew's like, what are you doing, man? Guys, I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's great. I love talking about it, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No, always a pleasure to come out here to Legacy Performance Academy, folks. It's good to see you.
You too.
It's good to see you. It's been a minute, Josh. I think the last time we really actually talked much was at Bridgeton.
it was
way back in the day.
At your office in Bridgeton.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So
We're around. Have some fun. Come out this weekend out here. We got games all weekend long, just inter squads. It's a festival. We have barbecues going, dodgeball.
dodgeball.
We have dodgeball, man. Home run derbies with, I think, blitzball, whatever they call that stuff. Golden arm competitions. I mean, it's a festival. We want to make sure the kids love the game.
Okay.
It's fun.
All right.
If you're bored.
If I'm bored, we'll definitely I may have to come out.
Come on.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate you being here and hope you've enjoyed it. If you like what we're doing, please support us, subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends. That helps the algorithm. We're this close to 3,000 subscribers. We want to get there by the time baseball season starts. Opening day, don't forget, we will be at Willard High School. The number 2 Willard Tigers taking on. I gave one away.
I was just gonna say, man, come on.
I did. I gave one away. I'm going to give another one away. Marshfield, number 8 in the state, Class 5. We got a dandy for you. 2 big-time arms going, 2 big-time teams going. Opening day at Willard High School. We're looking forward to it. 4 o'clock will be pregame. 4:30 will be first pitch. We'll see y'all at the ballpark.